are many places on Earth that you would never want to visit. Places crawling with spirits, demons, and even murderous tribes. The world is a beautiful place, but just one step in the wrong direction, and you can easily find yourself in a horrible situation without even realizing it. For example,
The Conjuring house.
The Conjuring house.
Conjuring house.
One of the most
Haunted homes.
on Earth.
The things that happened in that house, it's hard to listen to.
or what about the Housa Castle?
Housa Castle. I mean, it's a hole in the ground that's said to be a portal to hell. What do you expect?
They sent 3 men down there. Demonic rituals.
Supposedly a portal to hell.
Or even the abandoned Weston State Hospital. You wouldn't want to go near any of these places, not even with a 10,000-mile long pole, and let me tell you why. Welcome back, everybody, to the first video, the first real video of October. Today we are taking a trip to the past and talking about 3 places you should never visit alone, part 2. As most of you know, I wanted to film this video last month, but due to some very weird things happening to me while I was looking into one of the stories about Annalise Michelle, I decided to hold off on it, and in that time, I was able to finalize the stories and really dig deep into what makes these places so dangerous and scary. But don't let the title misguide you. These aren't just places I wouldn't go to alone. These aren't places that I would go with an army of 1,000 people. I would never go anywhere near these places in my life. So while we film this video, I'm going to have this REM pod set up right behind me. And if it goes off at any time, we're going to look into what I said, what story we're talking about, and why it could have possibly went off. And if you don't know, if this thing goes off, it means that there is a spirit in the area. So let's go ahead and power it on. Okay, now that this thing is powered on, let's zero it in. Now anything that goes near the antenna will make it go off. You can see that, right? Okay, my hand movement will not make that go off, even if I'm like this. So one more thing, a lot of people have been mentioning Air Up to me ever since I mentioned it about a month ago in my video, and honestly I could see why. So if you don't know what Air Up is, it is the world's first ever hydration system that flavors water through scent. It's one of the most mind-blowing concepts, and honestly if you haven't tried it already, you need to get your hands on it and experience it for yourself. So I've been using Air Up obviously for about a month now, and not only does it make water taste amazing without any added sugars or artificial flavors, but it's also been helping me health-wise. About a month ago, I went to the hospital because I was having really bad pain in my side, and it turned out that I was severely dehydrated, which is a problem in a lot of people. And ever since then, I've been trying to drink a lot more water, but obviously it's not easy because water isn't the best tasting drink in the world. Then once I discovered Air Up, everything changed. I'm legit always hydrated because of how easy it is to actually drink the water. And the way that it works is so simple. This is what the bottle looks like, and it has this flavor pod at the top, and all you have to do is insert the flavor pod onto the bottle like this, and whenever you're ready to drink, you just pop the flavor pod up like this, and then you take a sip. That shocks me every single time. I have apple right now, and it tastes exactly like a fresh apple. I was originally gonna come on and tell you guys my favorite flavors, but if I'm being honest, I love every single flavor. So if you guys wanna try Air Up, which if you haven't, you definitely should at least give it a shot at least once in your life, hit that link in my description and use code Sherman the Vermin for 10% off your purchase. All right, let's get back into the video. Now that we have answered all of the questions that you guys had about Air Up and we have our REM pod set up, let's begin with the highly sought after story of the Housa Castle. So starting off, we have one of the most terrifying places that I could possibly think of. We are talking about the Housa Castle in the Czech Republic that was built over 800 years ago. Now this castle is rumored to be built over a portal to hell, an actual portal to hell. The supposed gateway to hell is an enormous bottomless pit that is supposedly so terrifying, the only people that ever investigated it were 3 prisoners from a nearby prison. Now this all started when people that lived in the area would report report seeing winged demons flying out of the pit at night, which I don't know if you guys believe that. That's kind of terrifying, but let's continue. The region's duke, because at the time they had a duke, the region's duke did not believe any of the legend, and he was pretty much confident that he was going to break all the rumors that this is a portal to hell and blah blah blah. So he takes 40 prisoners from a jail and he takes them all to this hole. Mind you, the castle's not built at this time, it's just a hole. He takes them to the hole and he tells them anybody who agrees to go down the hole and investigate it and prove that it is not a portal to hell will be free from all of their charges. You'll be able to get out of prison and whatever. So only 3 people volunteered. Actually 2 volunteered and 1 was forcefully picked. So they hooked these 3 guys up to ropes, and all of the rest of the 37 men were holding the rope and lowering them down slowly. Now only one of the people made it out alive. One of the bodies was not recovered and the other body was shredded to pieces, as the article says. And the man that was alive, everyone said that he looked way older. I don't know if I believe that, but apparently he aged like 30 years just from being down there for like 10 minutes. And the story that he told about what happened when he went down there was so gruesome that like I had to take a break while I was reading the article and just like gather my thoughts because it was disgusting. To simplify it, he said that there was a tribe of people living down there that thought they were the devil. They grabbed one of his friends and started eating him, and they destroyed the other guy and left the guy on the far left. The tribe told the last man standing to tell anybody up on the other side of the hole that whoever wants to go down and investigate it will be turned into this guy. And they also say they will be punished by the devil. The man says that the only reason he was left alive was to tell the story. Now after this happens, the region's duke is obviously terrified, and he goes to the king and tells him everything that happened, and the king wastes no time and he doesn't take any chances. 5 years later, the whole entire Housa castle is built, enclosing this portal to hell in the middle of the ground. It's said that they believed that it would block all the spirits coming out of it. Now fast forward to today, the current property owners of the castle say they are protecting it from falling into the wrong hands, whatever that means. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it's open for visiting. It's not like a tour or you don't have to pay. It's just open to anybody who wants to go there, but very little people have the nerve to go over there because it is said to be the closest to hell that you can get on earth. Now the scariest part is that there are 20 to 30 dead birds in the courtyard of the castle every single morning, and everybody believes it's because the spirits are so strong in that hole that anything that flies over it instantly dies. And inside the castle are a bunch of ancient drawings of religious figures and even, weirdly enough, devils. Now something really weird is that there's a room with like 100 deer heads in it, because back in the day they would kill the deers in the area because they thought they were possessed. They would be moving like in a weird way. They killed the deers and put their heads on a wall, almost as if it was a trophy, and any demons who wanted to come out of the hole would see that and be scared and go right back into the hole. The Housa castle is definitely a place that I would not want to go anywhere near. Like you will never ever catch me going to the Czech Republic and walking anywhere near the Housa castle. There's so many more stories about it, possessions and just super weird stuff like that, which I'm not even gonna get into, but let's move on to story number 2. For story number 2, we have the Weston State Lunatic Asylum. This is the last place that you would ever want to be at if you were somebody with any type of illness, you know, psychiatric disabilities or any kind of emotional disorders. You get the gist. Now the reason for that is because they did so many experiments on the patients, the most terrifying one being lobotomy, which is literally the process of poking somebody's brain to get rid of their illness. And you might actually be asking, well, what's so dangerous about that? Most of the time, the patients are still awake. Other forms of treatment included an ice bath, but not just a cool ice bath that you see on TikTok now. It's an ice bath in which they force you into a straitjacket and force you into a tub full of ice water while you're panicking and you literally cannot move. I'm talking your head is fully submerged and all that. They would even induce patients into artificial comas, and it was almost always without the patient's consent. Obviously, it's a asylum. They could kind of do whatever they wanted, and it wasn't against the law. And most of the time, the patient would not come back from that coma. They would unfortunately pass away, and it was all legal due to the corrupt law at the time regarding any patients. Now, mind you, this is not a small asylum. Weirdly enough, it is 666 acres of land. I know. It has several different buildings and several different caretakers, and yet even this much land was not enough to house all the patients. Now, keep listening because it gets way crazier. Now, the asylum was built to hold 250 people at a time. It held 3,000 people at one time. That's 12 times the maximum capacity. But how did this happen? Well, back in the day, anybody could have been checked in for having some kind of disorder or disability, specifically women. Back then it was very corrupt. They could be admitted just for being lazy, religious, or even just jealous. It was insane. And this led to the asylum's horrific stories. There were murderers, satanists, and much, much more. Now, they eventually ran out of rooms, obviously, but what did they do? They took the extra patients and held them outdoors in cages, actual cages, outside and in the hallways. And all of this stuff combined, the lobotomies, the forced ice baths, the forced comas, being held outside for half your life, led to the death of over 30,000 people. Just think about that. 30,000 people died at this one asylum. That is what makes this place a living nightmare. Just imagine a doctor taking an ice pick while you are awake and shoving it in your eye to remove a piece of your brain to get rid of some kind of illness that you don't even have. And this is the weirdest part. They said that the doctors would leave the piece of the brain in the head, saying that it will eventually dissolve, and a small percentage of the patients say that they felt the piece of the brain slushing around in their head. When they slept or when they turned their head or showered, they felt it in their head. The surgery would either leave the patient completely paralyzed, kill them, leave them completely emotionless, or take away any personality that they ever had. Terrifying surgery, and I don't know why it was ever done so many times. The surgeries were performed by Dr. Walter Freeman, who performed over 3,000 lobotomies even on children. They believed that they could control the children or make them more obedient. If you've ever seen the Netflix documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer, you know how he was trying to give those guys lobotomies so that he could turn them into human zombies? It's the same thing that this doctor was trying to do to his patients. Now, this place is undoubtedly ghost infected. People like Sam and Colby, who are very famous ghost investigators, have reported seeing crazy shadows there and even filmed a insanely creepy video there. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. It's one of the scariest videos that I've seen in a very, very long time. One famous spirit who is known to hang around the first floor in Lily's bedroom is very deceptive, they say. Many people think that Lily is actually the one haunting the room because it makes the most sense, but Lily is a little girl, and the person that is haunting that room is a very strong and aggressive spirit who's trying to act like a little girl. Then when people let their guard down or get a little bit comfortable, he definitely comes out and shows you his real side by either touching you or making a very strong sign that he is there. This place is undoubtedly dangerous, and I would never want to go anywhere near it. There's so much more to it, and I'd love to get into it, but I think it's time we move on to place number 3, the Conjuring house. Now, I personally think that this is one of the most terrifying places on this list. If you guys have ever seen the movie The Conjuring...
Why is it doing that?
Did it go off? Or am I tripping?
It like made a weird noise.
If you guys have ever seen the movie The Conjuring, yeah, one of the scariest movies ever, then you'll know the whole entire story about the Conjuring house and why the spirits are so strong that it literally made the REM pod go off. This house is the whole entire reason that the story was even made. Leslie? Please stop going off. Okay, well, that is freaking creepy. There's nobody behind me if you think that it's like some kind of joke. Let's continue with the story. This haunting involved people being thrown out of their beds, family members falling downstairs, family members being attacked by an evil spirit inside of a barn at night, which is terrifying, and even being preyed on by the spirit of a evil witch, which I just realized a couple days ago was named Bathsheba Sherman. Now, the fact that the name is Bathsheba Sherman, and Sherman is literally my name, maybe me and this Bathsheba evil witch have something in common. Isn't that right, Bathsheba? Okay, I'm kidding.
Anthony?
No. Bruh. Bathsheba, are you there? Bathsheba Sherman.
That
It's so creepy.
Okay. Oh, bro. That's actually really weird. I'm gonna just let that go and we'll see when it stops. Maybe it likes me telling the story. Anyways, this house is open for exploration to the public, but the only people that are brave enough to go there are YouTubers and very, very brave ghost hunters. The reason for that is because you open yourself up to bad luck. Please stop.
I'll not stop.
You open yourself up to bad luck, bad mojo, and death. The story takes place in Rhode Island in 1971, which is actually very, very recent. I'm gonna summarize the story real quick. A family moves into the new house and realizes that it's just super weird. And that's because the first thing that happened was not paranormal, it was weird. The previous owner of the house goes to them and tells them, hey, make sure you leave the lights on at night because it gets really creepy in here at night. And it didn't take the homeowners a long time to realize the house was haunted. Imagine if it went off now, that would be creepy. Hey, bro, that's weird. Mind you guys, it has not been going off like the whole video until we got to this story, which is so freaking weird. Okay, here's a very weird story. So one night, the two little girls were at the barn. It was late at night and there was two little girls at the barn. Bro. We're literally talking about Bathsheba Sherman and like she's
Stop saying her name.
Bro, she's literally in our house. My name is Sherman! Bathsheba?
Anthony.
Sherman. Anyways, the two little girls were at the barn when they claimed they were attacked by an unseen entity, and this is still going off. I'm gonna just keep going. I don't care about you right now, Bathsheba. I got some work to do. Anyways, they were absolutely scarred by this incident, and they didn't ever want to talk about it like publicly. They only talked about it to their therapist, which I guess came out and sold the story for money or whatever. But anyways, shortly after, the family claims that they all heard voices in their heads talking about bodies living in their walls of the home. Then one morning at approximately 5:15 a.m., the family all wake up at the same time, go out into the house, walk outside of their rooms, and literally smell rotting flesh in the kitchen. Another weird thing is that one of the girls of the house say that she was tortured by a man ghost.
That's scary.
If there's any spirit here, please let me know by making that go off. Okay. Is it okay that I continue talking about this story? Beep 0 times for yes. Anyways, one of the creepiest things about this story, bro, I like how I just literally ignored the spirit that's telling me to stop talking about it. I just keep talking about it. Shut up, spirit, I'm trying to tell a story. One of the scariest things that I read about this is that the people in the house, and it's so simple, but it's so terrifying, and don't you dare skip past this part, because if you're by yourself right now, I told you don't watch by yourself, and this is the scariest part. They would say that they feel somebody randomly pinch the back of their arm. Right here, they would randomly feel a pinch. Like imagine you're at home and you're by yourself and you just feel someone go boom, pinch you right there. Stop it now, stop right now. I'm almost done. That's the end of that story. I just recently, dude, yo. Do you want me to keep going? Okay, ring strongly if there's someone here. That's not strong, that's a baby one. Ring stronger. No, ring stronger if it's a real spirit. Now, with all that being said, I will not be exploring any of these places, no matter how many. Okay, 70,000 likes, and I'll explore one of the places of your guys' choosing, but without Leslie. 70,000 likes and you got it. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section down below. It has been your boy Bathsheba Sherman, and I'm out. Peace. Yo, bro. That's weird, dog. Look, I'm gonna stand all the way by you. Look. That shouldn't be going on.